Hi everyone, we're going to use the sum and difference formula for sine. We're going to write this expression in terms of u and v. This would be your alpha minus your beta. So the formula we're going to be using is sine of alpha cosine of beta minus cosine of alpha sine of beta. And what we need is all our values. We need sine of alpha, cosine of beta, and cosine of alpha and sine of beta. And we're going to write this in terms of u and v. So the first thing we're going to deal with is alpha. We're going to set tan of alpha equal u. That's how you rewrite that inverse expression. The restrictions are from negative pi over 2, so this is basically from quadrant 4 to 2. And then also we do the same for sine of beta equals v, and it's basically the same, but it's defined so it can equal that. So we're still in quadrant 1 and 4. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we're going to have to find, let's deal with alpha, sine of alpha and cosine of alpha. So we want to find those two first. Well, we know that secant squared equals tan, well, let's do alpha here. Secant squared of alpha equals tan squared of alpha plus 1. So, if you square root both sides, you're going to get secant of alpha equals, tan is u, so we're just going to write this as u squared plus 1. So if secant equals that, then you remember secant is 1 over cosine. So that's just going to be 1 over square root of u squared plus v. Okay? So cosine is 1 over that. Let's just begin it. Cosine is that. Okay. So we have our cosine is 1 over square root of u squared plus 1. So that's cosine. Now for sine, we have sine of alpha squared of alpha is 1 minus cosine squared of alpha. So we know that this is going to be sine of alpha equals the square root of 1 minus cosine squared of alpha. And then we're going to continue on the next page. So what we're going to get is sine of alpha equals the square root of 1, I'll write it again, 1 minus cosine squared of alpha. Remember that cosine of alpha equals 1 over square root of u squared plus 1. So our sine of alpha equals square root of 1 minus 1 over u squared plus 1. Now, when you simplify this, we're going to write this in terms of the common denominator, which is u squared plus 1. Put that over 1, so that's going to be u squared plus 1 minus 1. So this is going to be the square root of u squared over u squared plus 1. And if you write this out, square root each piece, this is going to give you u over u squared plus 1. So now we can write everything out. We have sine of alpha cosine of beta minus cosine of alpha sine of beta. So we're going to get 1, or u, over the square root of u squared plus 1 times square root of 1 minus v squared minus 1 over square root of u squared plus 1 times v. And simplifying that, that's going to give you u. So I'm just going to multiply these two. You get u times the square root of 1 minus v squared. That's just those two multiplied. Minus v, multiplying those two, over your common denominator, which is the square root of u squared plus 1. Okay? So that's how you would do a problem like that. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye-bye.